Hey, yo, welcome into CHGO White Sox podcast presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Welcome into the CHGO studios here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Alongside me today is our CHGO White Sox beat writer, Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. And today we'll be joined by the man in the bubble, Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. What's up, Herb? What's going on? Why you in the bubble today?
We have a person here who is sick. It is not me. And so instead of exposing the rest of you guys to maybe a potential illness, I am not sick myself. But, I just want to be more cautious than we were before this whole thing started. And it's not COVID, by the way, guys. So we're all good here.
Well, best of luck to the people that are, hopefully Ziggy is doing all right. Ziggy probably
he's always a jerk.
Probably real banged up. But I'm real jealous of the shirt. That's the first thing I want to get to with you, for Vinny, Herb. I don't know how I'm talking to today. We'll talk to Herb. How's the shirt fit? You got the first CHGO locker delivered to your house. Repping the sky today. How's it fit?
Fits really well. I don't know if blue is my color, but it's a lot of people's color. This is nice. It fits perfectly. It's perfectly soft. And I didn't realize when I bought it that it spells out sky with the buildings of Chicago. Yeah.
I think they did that on purpose.
Yeah, I know. The Smurfit building, the building from the major, the Ventures and Babysitting, and then, of course, the Sears Tower and the Hancock behind it.
Herb is the kind of guy who still doesn't know that there's an arrow in the FedEx logo.
Wait a second. Stop it, man! You're blowing my mind over
Herb,
here.
is it PetSmart or PetSmart?
PetSmart.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's like the mart for pets.
It's obvious. It's where the pets. Petco is where the pets go, but that's kind of the idea.
Well, and I think the pets, the PETS in PetSmart is blue, and then the Mart part is red. So I think that's the giveaway there.
Did people think it was PetSmart?
Yes.
Like Get Smart, like the TV show.
I mean, some people could come to that conclusion.
Oh,
I don't
some
know
people,
all people do.
Some people over here.
I'm not saying so. I wouldn't. At least right now, I wouldn't say. I think of it as Pet Mart or Pet Smart. But anyways, we'll talk about. Let's get into the stuff we know about. Let's get into Johnny Cueto. Johnny Cueto has signed a deal with the White Sox. It's a minor league deal that can become a major league deal that he can also opt out of. So we'll talk about the whole deal for Johnny Cueto coming to the South Side. We'll preview the pitchers now with all of the injuries and some of the departures. We will recap you and get you set on who will be pitching for the White Sox on opening day. And then finally, the final topic, we're going to do a little bit of, I think we got over-unders. Bold predictions is what we're going to be doing for the 2022 Chicago White Sox here on Tuesday, April 5th. Let's jump into Johnny Cueto here. I alluded to the deal. It's going to start off as a minor league deal. And Herb, you talked about this yesterday. You thought that, since they signed him so close to opening day, that he might need to be sent down to the minors to get built up because he didn't have a spring training. I don't think you're really shocked by this, but when you first saw the news late last night, what was your reaction?
Like I said yesterday, it can't hurt. It might help the White Sox in the interim. I don't know. A veteran like Johnny Cueto probably only needs a couple, if that, starts down there in AAA, and then he'll be ready to contribute to the major league team. By the end of April, I believe that Johnny Cueto will be up here. If he's the pitcher that showed up in San Francisco last year, that pitcher will do well for the White Sox. Will do all right for the White Sox. It'll be the perfect fit to what they need in the stead of Lance Lynn while he recovers from his injury. I am in the mood of it's good, it's fine. Don't look for all-star Johnny Cueto to come here with the White Sox. He's going to have swag. Maybe he's bring his horses. But otherwise, probably people are going to hit him hard. And this is just going to be the 2 months that are Lance Lynn is out, and then he's going to be relegated to a useless role. And if he contributes in that 2 months, God bless. Get a ring at the end of the year.
Yeah, Jeff Passan last night, 11:39. Right-hander Johnny Cueto and the White Sox are under agreement in a minor league deal. A source familiar with ESPN tells me he will make $4.2 million prorated for days being spent in the big leagues. Sox need pitching with Lance Lynn injury. And Vinny, that's what you wrote about today on allchgo.com. That was one of the first things that Rick Hahn told you guys down in Arizona, was that we need pitching depth this year. Obviously, we were a little bit iffy on the depth that they did have. The Lance Lynn injury forces them to go find more depth. This is the best piece that they probably could have found for depth, right?
Well, let's put it this way: you could do a lot worse than having a former top 10 Cy Young guy in the minor leagues for you right now. And I think that's kind of the idea here. It's depth. It's depth. Don't get excited. We're not going into the 2017 season. We're going into 2022. So it's been a while since Johnny Cueto was Johnny Cueto. Really, you know what I mean? You look, a lot of injuries since then. He had Tommy John. I think there were 2 season span there where he only made 13 or 14 starts. So it's a big name to a lot of people, but it's not. You shouldn't be expecting him to play a big role. I think anything but helping to keep this afloat while Lance Lynn is out. Anything more than that is gravy. And you mentioned some of the other depth. We talked to Chris Getz this morning, the White Sox farm director, and he's listing some names that people might not be all that excited about in terms of depth. I mean, the White Sox are pleased with them. The White Sox, are confident in these guys. But, Jimmy Lambert, Cade McClure, Tanner Banks, Emilio Vargas. These were the names that Chris Getz read off. And while, obviously any of those guys are capable of coming up and making positive contributions, I don't know how many fans out there would feel comfortable with that as the next line of defense after Vince Velasquez and Reynaldo Lopez, considering there are plenty of fans out there who aren't comfortable with that line of defense. So I think we're going to see a lot of Vince Velasquez and some Reynaldo Lopez. But remember, they need innings eaters in the bullpen, too, to be able to make up for some of their healthy starters who might not be able to go super deep into games. So Johnny Cueto, they're hoping that he's going to go down to minor leagues, be physically available, and then come up and just be a guy that they can give the ball to soak up some innings.
Yeah, and to that depth point, too, one of the names that he probably didn't mention was Jonathan Stever. I mentioned him yesterday, not realizing that he's on the 60-day IL. So some of the depth that you're used to as a White Sox fan, some of the depth that has been in the organization, banged up. And Stever was a guy that has come up in 2020 and 2021 to make some spot starts for the Sox. So, yes, some of the depth won't be familiar to the Sox. Really the only name of note there, I think, that Getz might have mentioned would be Lampert, that Sox fans have seen. So, you look at the organization, it does feel a little bit thin with major league experience, but Cueto, obviously a former World Series champion, top Cy Young finisher in the NL. Herb, you mentioned the injury part about it. Realistically, how long do the Sox need to use Johnny Cueto for? I mean, we'll probably see him down in the minor leagues for maybe a start, 2 starts, but what's the goal? By when do you think Johnny Cueto's services will be no longer needed by the White Sox?
I mean, we heard today that Tony is going to be using a 5-man rotation to start the season, even though we have the off day there. It's really tough to know. He is only going to be out for 2 months, 6 to 8 weeks should he be throwing. We're talking about Lance Lynn. Middle of April, he should be starting to throw. Probably at the end of May, he'll be taken out of the rotation. What is that, 4 starts, 5 starts, Vinny? That's not a lot. Something where you're just getting through 4 or 5. You don't need a lot from Johnny Cueto. I say this as a person that didn't really want the deal initially. It's fine, and I think that if you get 5 innings from Johnny Cueto every time he goes out, no matter the result, I mean, as long as, Tony thinks that he's still pitching well into the 5th, you take that as a win, a huge win. You're signing him on April 4th. What do you got to expect from a guy who's already long in the tooth, hasn't pitched well in the last couple of years? So, yeah, like Vinny said, don't look at this as, man, we got Johnny Cueto, Cincinnati Johnny Cueto. No, you got, I think we brought the name up the other day. You got Irvin Santana. Hopefully he pitches a little bit better than Irvin Santana pitched with the White Sox.
Yeah, I think I wrote today, this is the long-awaited sequel to the Irvin Santana signing, right? Yeah, I mean, obviously you want it to go, if you're the White Sox, you want it to go much differently than that went, but this is that kind of move, right? I mean, you're signing somebody on the eve of the season to provide depth for you. The White Sox, too, you got to remember, in a much different spot than they were back then. In 2019, you could throw Irvin Santana out there as a flyer, and who cares what he does, right? You're a rebuilding team. You're not expecting to do much. This year, the White Sox are expecting to win the World Series, and you got to keep in mind what we've been saying all along, which is those games in April and May count just as much as the games in August and September. And if you're going to put Johnny Cueto out there in April and May, you better be very confident that he's going to put you in a position to win, in a better position to win than people who are already on your team are going to put you in. So remember, this is a minor league deal for Johnny Cueto. If things don't go well in the minors, he's not coming up. You know, I mean, he's not a guy that they went out to sign because they need Johnny Cueto. They need somebody to have an arm down there.
Yeah, I do honestly push back on the idea that he might not make it to the team. I have a pretty
I
strong
think the likelihood is very in favor of him doing so. But
even if he gets shellacked down in Charlotte.
Because of horses, Sean?
What's that?
Is it because of the horses, Sean? I know you're a fan.
Yeah, R.I.P. Popeye. I feel bad for Popeye. Popeye is dead, and that is very sad for Johnny Cueto. I do love the cowboy vibe that he's bringing. You know, it's a little bit mix of the Latin American feel that this team has, along with the Lance Lynn cowboy feel. So it's very nice. He does fit in very well with both sides of this team. But I think that Popeye is a big loss in the Cueto family. This might be the Popeye revenge season for Johnny Cueto. But with Cueto, like the thing that he was doing really well last year was what most veteran pitchers do well, and as long as he's commanding his fastball and changeup on the outside edge, he's able to hit his spots, he'll be okay. He'll probably let up a few home runs, here and there, but early on last year with the Giants, his first 3 starts, 105 pitches, 118 pitches, 68 pitches, only 4 runs allowed in like over 18 innings. He could still be effective. He knows how to pitch, and I think it's more about getting into his routine. If he gets into a routine down in Charlotte, then he'll probably be able to, produce for the Sox, or at least give them innings. Because at this point, it really feels like that's all that they need. If they get 5 runs, if Cueto gives up 5 runs and 5 innings of work, I think they still might be able to take that and hope the bats, pull them out of it.
Yeah, and I think, too, you can't discount how important it would be for him to do something like that, given where Michael Kopech is, given where Dylan Cease might be at the very beginning of the season. If you only got 2 guys in your rotation going more than 5 innings a day, that means that your bullpen is going to be used an awful lot. Now, the White Sox have a very good bullpen of guys that they can rely on, and I don't think that the team is in jeopardy of losing a ton of games because they'd have to rely more on the bullpen. Certainly, every team in baseball is going to be in a similar situation, but those innings are gonna build up on those relief arms, and so to have somebody come in and literally just go out there and make sure your bullpen doesn't have to pitch as much as you thought they were going to, that's a big deal.
Well, and Herb, this is a Giant team last year. He's coming from a Giant team last year that didn't have a solid bullpen. That didn't have, the White Sox put the second most money into their 2022 bullpen than any other teams besides the Dodgers. Bless you, Steven, behind the camera. The Giants here didn't have a great bullpen. And yet, you look at Cueto's 2021, the Giants, who went 107 and whatever, they went 12-10 in his starts. The White Sox, if they give him 4 to 5 runs in a start, I think the Sox will be absolutely fine with Johnny Cueto for 8 weeks, 6 weeks here.
Yeah, if the guy that showed up in San Francisco shows up in Chicago after he's done with his minor league assignment, we're going to be fine for the time being of Lance Lynn being gone. And maybe that guy you keep on the roster too, just for those purposes. The White Sox are known to have injuries, especially last couple of years in the pitching rotation. He'll be a guy that can be a nice spot starter instead of rolling dice with Vince Velasquez in that role. But I saw one tweet or text from Stephen Niss earlier that says the White Sox should put a patch of Popeye on their jersey, kind of like they did with Eloy last year when he passed away before the start of the season, then resurrected in the middle of the season. Rest in peace, Eli.
I mean, they'll need a couple commemorative jerseys to remember the fallen White Sox here. Johnny Cueto, this is from Sox Nerd. Most wins upon joining the White Sox. He has 135 joining the White Sox if he pitches with the team. Irvin Santana had 149 in 2019. Bartolo Colon had 150 when he joined the team in 2009. Didn't know Dave Stieb was a White Sox back in 1993. Yes. He had 174 wins joining the Sox. Jim Cott's on this list, 1973 with 179 wins. Steve Carlton tops this list with 314 wins when he joined the Sox back in 1986. We mentioned Irvin Santana back in 2019. This is reminiscent of some moves that the Sox have made. I think some people have brought up Otismir Despaigne as well. People have brought up Ivan Nova. Is there going to be a Johnny Cueto game here, Herb? Are we going to look back at a game against the Royals late April, and we're going to remember the game that Johnny Cueto threw 7 shutout innings?
I don't know the stats on Ivan Nova, but when he pitched for the White Sox, I don't recall him being poor. I remember poo-pooing him starting like the second game of the year, but when the stats registered, I was like, all right, this Ivan Nova was decent as hell for the White Sox. He was 11-12 with a 4.72. He posted every time through 34 starts. And 225 hits he gave up. He gave up a lot of hits. So I'm looking at these numbers again. It's like he pitched all right, better than I thought Ivan Nova was, but he wasn't awesome that year. But if Johnny Cueto is around there in that hemisphere of 4.72, probably a little bit lower on the ERA, I'm fine for the 2 months that he's going to be pitching.
Yvonne Nova was an offseason acquisition. He was a trade at the winter meetings, if memory serves correct. He was acquired not to be a depth piece. He was acquired to be a very important part of that rotation.
He was acquired to be the guy. They went 17-7 with Ivan Nova on the bump in 2019, and from July 7th to 2014, he had an ERA in 10 games of 2.10. So I mean, hey, you never know what you can get out of some of these guys. I mean, Johnny Cueto still has it. He still knows how to pitch. He just might not have 97 to go with it. He has the wherewithal, but I don't know if he's just got the stuff with him. And we brought up the injuries before too. I mean, that's gonna hold him back. And being the age that he is, it's tough to recover from those as easy as he once did. Got to let you know the best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you do that right now, you'll get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker, all for making a $50 or more first-time deposit shirt. Herb, you just got your first shirt from the CHGO locker. Did you get a White Sox one with it, or did you just go sky only?
No, I have a White Sox, the Brawler Sox coming, and also the CHGO dark gray on black shirt, which is perfect for me. It's like my favorite combination of colors.
You're getting jealous?
This is very smooth. Oh my God, this is perfect. It's better than I thought. Everything about CHGO is good on the surface, and then when you get it, it's much better than you thought.
I agree with that, and that's why you should take advantage of this deal. Use code CHGO when you sign up with PointsBet. Again, a $50 or a $50 first-time deposit or more will get you $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker. Not only is it good, it will be great, like Herb says. So once we deliver it, you get those shirts. You'll be happy with the shirt that you get for supporting CHGO. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And our next partner has a product that I literally use every day. I started taking AG1s because I wanted to start getting on schedule. I wanted to start waking up. And, instead of people, using coffee, I wanted to use something that was a little bit more, focused on getting me things that I miss out on a day-to-day basis. I usually drink my coffee at night, my Strava CBD stuff. But when I wake up, take my AG1s, makes me feel like I'm starting my day right. It's not super healthy tastingly either. I'm putting in 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source superfoods in there, but it doesn't taste like I'm putting 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, and whole source superfoods into my body. It tastes kind of tropical, tastes pretty mild, and it's a very easy way to get those 75 high quality vitamins and minerals into my body. With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. That's why I take it, and that's why over 7,000 people have left 5-star reviews for Athletic Greens because it's lifestyle friendly. Whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, it will help you start your day right. Right now is the time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Socks. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/CHGO Socks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Okay, we talked about Johnny Cueto. Let's talk about the room that he will be in. Herb, you mentioned the number of having 15 pitchers on the opening day roster. The opening day roster will be 28. It will expand back down to 26 on May 1st. Let's look at the 15 guys that we're going to be putting on the roster on opening day. That's starting coming up on Friday here. We'll go through the pitching staff. Lucas Giolito, Dylan Cease, Michael Kopech, Dallas Keuchel, and maybe Vince Velasquez are your 5 starters. Tony La Russa just met with the media right before our show and mentioned that Dallas Keuchel will get the 5th start this year. So it will go Giolito, Cease, Kopech, ? Dallas Keuchel. Let's start with our starters here on the pitching staff. Vinny, you seem pretty shocked that Dallas Keuchel is slotted in that 5th spot. What's the thinking behind here? What can White Sox fans expect on the home opener?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, I think Vince Velasquez probably is the guy that's going to get that assignment. We will see, though. Obviously, that is to be announced by Tony La Russa and the White Sox. But I always look at it as you kind of want to keep those guys on their regular schedule, right? I mean, especially a veteran like Lance Lynn or Dallas Keuchel. Those guys are very routine-oriented. They like to pitch every 5th day. And so that's why we kind of projected yesterday that without Lance Lynn, you might see them take advantage of the off day to keep everybody on that 5-day schedule. Well, we keep being told this is a strange season, and starting pitchers are going to, be needing a little bit more rest maybe, or, not going to be able to throw as many innings. So maybe they're giving them the extra day. Take advantage of that early off day to try to make sure that those guys are as well rested as possible as they move forward through the season. It was a little surprising. We saw the White Sox very much take advantage of off days last year, especially in regards to Carlos Rodon when he was, being given all that time between starts. They wanted to use the schedule to their advantage to keep the other 4 guys on that regular schedule. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I think Vince Velasquez is probably the favorite to do that for the reason that I keep saying, which is Reynaldo Lopez had success in a relief role last season. Vince Velasquez has rarely been anything but a starter in the major leagues. Maybe he's in a better position to succeed if he can get on that similar 5-day schedule that he has been used to for the majority of his career.
Yeah, Herb, I saw Josh Nelson compare if Vince Velasquez is the opening day starter to Hector Nueces making the opening day start for the Sox in 2015. What was your thoughts if Vince Velasquez, it makes sense what Vinny's saying, keeping him in that starter routine here. What would your thoughts be if Vince Velasquez is the opening day starter for the Sox in 2022, a possible, title series winning year for the Sox?
I mean, it's either him or Raylo. So I prefer Raylo because I think he is an overall better pitcher. But Vinny just said, they saw Raylo last year, and what I ultimately think his role will be in the majors will be a reliever. So let's keep him there and allow him to affect games a little bit more throughout the baseball season. And if they were getting their Johnny Cueto in the middle of this month, maybe you're only seeing 2 starts from Vince Velasquez anyway, so he better do well. But I think this is more for, and I think you brought the point up the other day, Michael Kopech. Days in between starts. He needs those days in between starts, not only for building up his arm and giving his arm rest, but when you said he pitches well on 5+ days or 4+ days of rest. So give him that extra rest that he needs. So we get prime Michael Kopech. You get probably well-rested Lucas Giolito, well-rested Dylan Cease, who also is building up his arm strength right now. So, yeah, I can see why they did the 5-man rotation straight right now, but I would have wanted Dallas Keuchel in that 4th spot just because if you run into problems in that home opener, that's the beginning of a series And then you have the series on the weekend coming up. You don't need to be running out your bullpen on that first day of that series on Tuesday. So I think Dallas Keuchel, while he might not pitch well, he's probably going to give you 5 at least those innings, if not 6 or 7.
Yeah, I wonder, though, I know that we're trying to figure out how to keep guys on routine, but is there any way? No, I mean, there's not a way, because I was just trying to think, like, if they're trying to keep Keuchel to back up Kopech, but it really feels like, the first time we're going to see Dallas Keuchel will be that second day of the home opening series, which it does feel pretty baffling. Like, I just am pretty confused that why you wouldn't go with your 4th best pitcher in that rotation. Like, it's the way that Vince Velasquez has struggled. Like, maybe this is just a way to get Vince Velasquez out there, and if he doesn't, perform well, that's an easy spot that Cueto takes over for.
I don't know. I mean, we're going to see. I saw a comment, how much are they going to use Cueto? Doesn't that depend on how well Velasquez and Lopez pitch? And I think, that makes sense. Like, hey, what if Vince Velasquez comes out and is fine? You know what I mean? Then you don't necessarily need, to rush Johnny Cueto up here to, take another roll of the dice, because your first roll of the dice is paying off in a reasonably, acceptable manner. So it obviously all remains to be seen how they're going to go with things. Again, I think that the reason that we expected Keuchel to get that start in the home opener was to keep the other 3 guys on their regular rest. But again, too, you see the benefit of an off day in there. So maybe that's what Tony is thinking. And, he goes, I'm not gonna deprive Lucas, Dylan, and Michael of an extra day of rest when they might need it in this early going, just to avoid throwing Vince Velasquez out there. So that could be part of the thinking as well.
Yeah, well, and to address the Cueto thing too, I think that they're going to use him just to get as much length as possible. Like, yes, even if Velasquez does perform well, we saw that Carlos Rodon came out well and performed well against Seattle in his first start, and then I think he waited all the way until his next start, which was opening the no-hitter against Cleveland, which was late April. So I feel like there was probably about like a 10-day absence between his starts. So,
yeah, well, and that was done on purpose because of Carlos's health history.
Right. So if there is a certain spot where Kopech, maybe they want to give him a break, Kopech will just skip your spot in the lineup. Here's Johnny Cueto. That could be how they could try to implement Cueto here.
Absolutely, and Ethan Katz even talked about that. Ethan Katz and Tony La Russa and Rick Hahn, they've all talked about that. That skipping starts for Kopech might be part of that workload management that they're going to do with him.
All right, so maybe that's where you'll see Cueto in there, is if Kopech, maybe after the first 2 starts, Cueto's finally ready after going down to AAA, and they're ready to call him up just to skip a spot for Michael Kopech there. Let's look at the bullpen here, because I do think length is going to be an issue. We have 16 names up there. You're likely going to see 15. We include Cueto in there, but he'll likely start with the Charlotte team, is what Tony La Russa told the media today. Herb, what's the biggest name that sticks out there to you? Like, what's the most important name that this bullpen might need to rely on that, you weren't really expecting at the start of the year?
Well, I think the resurgence of Matt Foster is important, very important. He showed up in his rookie year along with Cody Hoyer. To me, relatively unknown, but to guys like James Fox and Mike Rankin, and congratulations to them and the folks at Sox Machine for merging, they knew those guys had a future. And when Matt Foster and Cody Hoyer burst on the scene, I was like, wow, the White Sox really have a penchant for developing young arms, especially guys who are in the bullpen. Now, Matt Foster has fallen off. His changeup is getting tattooed. Last year in Seattle, it was, I think some mismanagement of his pitching up there.
So did the
Seattle.
manager, by the way.
Yeah, and so maybe that threw him off. That was early in the season. That was the first weekend of the season, and the kid did not have a great year. And so a Matt Foster resurgence, because all the rest of those guys, with the exception of like Kyle Crick and Jose Ruiz, have a good baseball card. The back of the baseball card plays. Now, if we get Matt Foster back to Matt Foster in 2020, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm on the Kyle Crick resurgent bandwagon here. I honestly think that he might be one of the best bullpen arms for the Sox this year. I think that he might even end up being better than Joe Kelly. Whoa, that's a big Chicago Rush comment there. You guys see that, or is that just on the preview? Oh, okay, that's just on the preview thing. Never mind.
There's a guy with a Chicago Rush Avi. One of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
guys
and then
who-
our guy Kevin, he's on the producers thing. I see the preview thing, and he blew it up the entire size of the screen.
I think
So I
it's
just
Brendan
saw a
out here
giant
with this. Loves the Chicago Rush.
We have
He's a
everything
big
going
Mike
on right
Hope
now.
fan.
Work in progress over here.
We're trying to be as cool, calm, and collective here on the CHGO set. But not only do we have giant Chicago Rush logos, but also there's this weird banging that's been going on below us. So I don't know if there's a rock party going on.
None of that. I know that's disconcerting when you're in the studio, but I cannot hear it here at my house. I did not see that Big has Chicago Rush thing, and apparently Brennan is a huge Mike Hohensee fan. Are we doing a CHGO Rush thing, even though they are no longer a team?
Are we doing a CHGO? I mean, I don't. I thought the Arena Football League folded.
Can you host it, Sean? Can you host it?
Yeah, I'll host it. I'll get Mike Ditka. Me and Mike Ditka, who used to own the Chicago Rush. We'll get up here. John Elway too. All the greats of the Arena Football League. But Kyle Crick, I think, is a guy that could be an elite bullpen arm for the Sox. He was a former top prospect. He's looked good so far in spring training. I really like this idea of them going and finding guys with great stuff and then trying to hone them in. Like, what's the point of having Ethan Katz if you're not able to get guys with great stuff already and then teach them things how to command it and, get through a routine. And I do think that Crick's stuff is absolutely electric. So if the White Sox can go out and find him, I think that, he's got a better pedigree than Matt Foster. He's got a better pedigree than Jose Ruiz, Bennett Souza, some of these guys. He could be a really interesting name that the White Sox added this offseason. So I'm excited to see Kyle Crick and what he could bring to the White Sox bullpen. Is there any name in there, Vinny, maybe even some of the bigger names that we might be overlooking for what they can do? I know Aaron Bummer had a lot of regression or a lot of outlying stats that show that he could have had a better year in 2021. But any names from the bullpen that could be a surprise for White Sox fans?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about results, but I think the guy that there's a lot of, maybe not pressure, but there's going to be a lot of importance on is going to be Sousa, who you mentioned, just because there's so few lefties out there. And I mean, Garrett Crochet, we talked so much about how they were going to try to handle him like they handled Kopech last year, but maybe they were going to run into some roadblocks with that strategy because he was one of just two lefties in the bullpen. Well, now he's out for the year, going to have Tommy John. So Sousa is the only other lefty in that bullpen besides Aaron Bummer. He's going to get used. You know what I mean? He's going to get used just because he's a left-handed pitcher. And so, it's going to come down to him having to deliver in those situations, or else the White Sox are going to be scrambling looking for another lefty. But really, every one of those guys is going to be important for the reasons we've discussed. There's going to be a lot of reliance on the bullpen because of the way that some of these starting pitchers are still getting ready to do their regular workloads. And then on the back end of that, once all the starting pitchers are back to their regular workloads, you're talking about the playoffs, in which every single year the bullpen is such an important part. You're going to see those guys, Liam Hendricks, Graveman, Joe Kelly, Aaron Bummer, those big four, if you will, back at the back end of that bullpen. They're going to be used on a daily basis come October. And you know what? That's why they went and got to, 3 of the 4 of those guys. And that's why they extended Aaron Bummer when they did, was to pitch these big moments for them. And so, we talk all the time. You guys, bring up how much money they've spent on the bullpen. You know what I mean? I think it could pay off just because you're talking about a very important aspect of the team, not just in the early going this year specifically, but in the way baseball has been for the last few years when the games count the most at the end of the season.
Right, and that's been the biggest thing with them in the postseason is they've just been outscored. You haven't really been able to rely on this bullpen that has been good, and now they make more upgrades during the offseason to make it better. You need to be in a position where you're up and able to use that bullpen. But Herb, we were watching the spring training game yesterday. We saw Bennett Souza end up coming out for the White Sox. We didn't watch this together live, but I was at least giving a lot of trash talk to Cody about Nick Madrigal. And then, of course, Bennett Souza's on the bump for the White Sox, throws a ball that's below Nick Madrigal's knees, and he hits it out. I don't know if this is important. I don't know if you had a reaction to it, but the fact that we were watching this, we talk about Bennett Souza being an important part of the White Sox bullpen, and he gives up a home run to Nick Madrigal like that. I was like, this is a bad sign.
I don't think so. I mean, he could be working on something, and if the kid runs into one in spring training, God bless. Who cares? Enjoy yourself, Nick Madrigal. And Cub fans, have fun. Enjoy that. Savor the flavor. When May comes, enjoy your singles. Enjoy your bad throws. And enjoy bad base running. I'm not a guy that makes a stand on a guy just because he's not on the White Sox. When Nick Madrigal's on the White Sox. I was like, that is not a high IQ baseball player. So go ahead, Cubs. Unless they have like teachers there par excellence at the Cubs, that guy will be a bad baseball player on the bases and in the field. You can enjoy your singles, 200 singles. He will not run into 3 or 4 home runs this year. I don't think so.
If he smartens up, he's definitely a valuable baseball player.
Very
but
much so.
I've been surprised at all the power we've seen from Nick Madrigal over the past 2 seasons. 3 home runs has been way more than I thought I've ever seen from
And one
Nick
of them
Madrigal.
was in a game that did not count.
Yes, But the fact that I saw it still happened. You know,
I saw Nick Madrigal in 2020 during the alternate site. When I went out to Schaumburg, went out to the Boomers Stadium, and watched him smack a home run off the scoreboard in that ballpark. So that was interesting.
Was that left field? Did he pull it? Was it?
It was left field. Yes, he pulled it. Yeah,
All right,
He did
so
not
Nick
hurt
Madrigal.
me, Steven. I just didn't like him when he was a White Sox. I thought he was very overhyped, and then when he got here, he wasn't the player that they promised he would be. So yeah, I was happy they traded him for Craig Kimbrell, which turned into AJ Pollock. Baby, what a great trade by Rick Hahn.
I wonder too with Madrigal, like they did rush him. I mean, he didn't get a ton of minor league opportunities, and that's something that we've seen now with the White Sox with Garrett, Crochet, Andrew Vaughn. We saw it with Nick Madrigal. Like I do wonder how much that played into him not being ready for the major leagues. I think that we can cut him a little bit of slack here.
I think we discussed it yesterday. The White Sox do not like bringing up players who are players that might go back down to the minor leagues. So I agree with them bringing up Andrew Vaughn when they did, bringing up Garrett Crochet with 0 experience in the minor leagues. They know when players are ready for the major leagues, and for the most part, they're right on those. They keep them up in the major leagues. I mean, I know I think Gavin Sheets went back down last year, but that wasn't because of his poor performance. He was decent his rookie year, which I think that he still qualifies as a rookie this year.
But Nick Madrigal, I mean, I would put Nick Madrigal in that same boat. I mean, he came up from the minor leagues, and it's not like he was not hitting.
No,
He hit fine. It was just you're talking about other aspects of the game. But yeah, I don't think he was rushed necessarily. And you got to look at a guy that they drafted. He was one of the best players in college baseball. I mean, that's different than drafting a high schooler. He's got some experience under his belt, or had some experience under his belt, and I think that was valuable, and he came up and hit for him, so you can't complain too much there.
Yeah, and Herb, I don't think Vaughn is still a rookie. Is that what you're saying?
Sheets. No,
Sheets.
Sheets.
Oh,
I think Sheets is a rookie. He qualifies as a rookie this year.
If anyone is on the Sox, I think Sheets is the only one that is close, because everyone else is already past it. I guess Bennett Sousa, if he makes the team, will be the only rookie. Maybe Gavin Sheets. I think he might be under the required PAs. So yeah, those might be the only 2 rookies for the White Sox this year. But with the bullpen, any final thoughts with Joe Kelly? That was the other name I wanted to bring up. Tony mentioned today that he's still not throwing his full arsenal inside bullpens yet. Joe Kelly, they signed him this offseason. Obviously, he was part of the Big Four that Vinnie mentioned a little bit earlier. But with the White Sox signing a player, him having this nerve issue, holding them back in April, what's the concern there, Herb, if any, or concern level for you?
None at all. I mean, I think the White Sox are confident that he'll pitch the majority of the season. This is just a precaution, being very cautious on Joe Kelly, not rushing him to pitch in games that he might not be ready for. He'll stay back in Arizona, get his innings up, get his arm feeling good, and then when he's ready to go on a minor league stint or just right up to the majors, he'll be ready for the White Sox. I don't mind that because it's a 3-year deal, right? So no rushing of a 3-year deal. And I know these games count in April, but you need to have Joe Kelly healthy for October and beyond.
Healthy might be a game changer, and Strava CBD coffee is a game changer and has helped me and thousands of people to improve their overall wellness and quality of life. Strava delivers delicious, fresh roasted specialty coffee infused with organic broad spectrum CBD. CBD from hemp doesn't make you high or hungry, but it does offer you real benefits that can help you. It will help you feel alert and focused without the jitters. It will help you live your life more balanced with less anxiety and fewer aches and pains. Plus, including CBD in your daily routine can even help you enjoy more restful sleep, so when you wake up feeling your best. The best part, Strava is all about quality. Everything is small batch and fresh and shipped straight to your door. Strava also offers concentrated full-spectrum CBD tinctures for those looking for more traditional CBD formats with a powerful entourage effects of benefits. CHGO listeners can save 25% off their entire purchase when you use code CHGO25. That's 25% off your order at StravaCraftCoffee.com when you use code CHGO25 at checkout. Discount coupon valid on non-subscription purchases only. Use one per customer. And if you already love Strava, you can subscribe and save with the Strava Coffee Club. With Strava, you're in control. Save on your favorite coffees and have them automatically delivered to your home or office on your preferred schedule. I really like ending my night with some Strava CBD coffee. I got the maximum strength 20 milligram CBD coffee, and it helps me sleep restfully. So I've really enjoyed including that into my day. So again, use code CHGO 25 at checkout, and that's 25% off your entire order at StravaCraftCoffee.com. We also want to talk about CHGO. It's been a blast. It's now been over a month of doing the CHGO White Sox podcast with Vinnie and Herb and our great producers, Steven, Kevin, Lawrence, everybody. It's been a blast to build this community. We have everybody in the chat right now giving their White Sox thoughts. So thank you to everybody joining us there. If you want to help support us, one way to do that is subscribe to our YouTube channel. Got a lot of Bears subscribers, but we're trying to build up the White Sox subscribers here. So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to go subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We're trying to get as many Sox fans on this page and watching us when we go live, whether it be for a 2 o'clock podcast like we will tomorrow for our season predictions. We'll be giving you our season predictions for both the AL and NL. It should be a lot of fun, me, Vinny, and Herb. But if you're looking for some post-game reactions after opening day on Friday, we'll have it for you. If you're looking for post-game reaction on Sunday, we'll have it for you. So make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we go live, and we'll be keeping you updated this whole 2020 season with White Sox content 5 days a week. And, if something big happens, maybe 6 times a week. If something really big happens twice, maybe 7 times a week. We don't know. But we're here for you to keep you updated on your Chicago White Sox. All right, Vinny and Herb and everyone on the YouTube channel too. We're going to try to have some fun here. Bold predictions for the White Sox in 2022. So if you have anything, Herb, that might be too much to save for, the normal predictions, what's something that you're not ready to put down on paper, but you could say at least out loud on a podcast?
I mean, I've said this year after year. Maybe I shouldn't because this sumbitch keeps on getting hurt. But it's Eloy hitting 50 home runs. He gets the necessary at-bats. He will hit 50 home runs. Now, his career average in the years that I count are the 2019, 2020 years. He was about 15 home runs per at-bat. Last year, he dropped out to about 21. He has remarkably similar stats, like the same amount of at-bats in 2020 and 2021, and same amount of games, but he dropped off. He had 10 less hits, and his average was 296 to 249. So if we get the Eloy that showed up in 2020 with 100% health, playing 150 games, probably 616 at-bats. I used Joey Gallo's numbers for his 38 home runs. He only has to hit a home run every 12.35 at-bats. Yes, that's a huge jump from 15 at-bats, but if anybody on the team can do it, it's Eloy. So 50 home runs this year with a full season of health from Eloy Jimenez, just jumping up from 15 home runs at-bat to 12 and a half at-bat.
Love that. That is bold. I mean, he hasn't been able to stay healthy, but we know the power is there. 50 would be, I think, a franchise record. I would have to look that up.
It would. Albert Bell, I believe, has the franchise record at 48 or 49, if I'm correct.
How you feeling about that one? Is that too bold for you, Vinny? What were you saying, Herb? Sorry.
Jermaine Dye came really close to breaking that in 2006. He had a great year, too.
Okay.
Not too bold. I mean, it's pretty bold. 50 home runs is hard to do. But my point being that, I think Eloy can do that as well. He's shown that he's got the pop. And, he's motivated to show that last year, he didn't feel like himself. Even after he came back from the injury, he kept saying he didn't feel like himself. He obviously wasn't hitting very well, outside of a few moments there. But, I go back to that 2019 season and remember some of the bombs that he was launching out of there. I mean, I'll never forget that one. You asked me this the other day.
Right.
That one he hit off Jordan Zimmerman, when the Nats were in town and bounced it off of the stairs on the side of the fan deck. I mean, some majestic shots, and so we know what he can do. Remember that home run last year that he hit in Kansas City? I mean, that was an awesome moment for the White Sox during that season. So I don't think it's crazy, and I'll tell you this, it plays into my bold prediction. Sean.
Oh yeah, what's your bold prediction? Let's get into it.
Here's one for you. Here's one. Everybody, this might even be too bold for White Sox fans. I think the White Sox as a team will win the Triple Crown. I think Eloy will lead the American League in home runs. I think Tim Anderson will lead the American League in batting average. I think Jose Abreu will lead the American League in RBIs.
I love that. I don't think that's too bold. I mean,
the Robert one is a thing. Wow. Okay. I'm there. If Robert leads the league in home runs, mercy.
I got Eloy. I got Eloy.
He's with
Eloy.
you.
Sorry, I was confused. I thought you said Robert. Oh, Eloy. Hell yeah.
I've got Robert, who might be the best player on the team, nowhere on that leaderboard.
Yeah, TA with the batting average, Abreu with RBIs, and then Eloy with home runs. I love that. I mean, I know that
easily.
Like that's a very value bet on CHGO bets is to take Jose Abreu to lead the league in RBIs. So that's I love that one right there. I mean, what's the toughest one I think for that to get? I think it would be TA's
Eloy.
batting average, right?
No, Eloy. Yeah, I mean, I say he's going to hit 50 home runs, but he's not come close because he's been hurt. He hit 31 his rookie year, and that was the highest.
TA's won a batting title already.
That's true.
Yeah, and Jose's won an RBI crown a couple times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the level that he would have to hit? What do we think? Like 340s to win a batting crown? 340s, 350s?
I mean, it depends. It really does fluctuate pretty wildly every year. I mean, it just comes down to the fact that he needs to just beat TA. You know what I mean? And last year he won in 2019. He won the batting title. 2020, he was right there until the end of the season when he had that little slump. The last, that coincided with the Sox losing streak there at the end of that season. And then last year, he had a couple injured list stints, and he had that time, in August, I believe it was, when he was dealing with, the sore legs that were keeping him out of the lineup. So, they always say health is the most important thing, and certainly White Sox fans know it from the way last year went. But you can even pinpoint it down to guys' individual seasons and, the production that you would expect from them. Just a little bit of a hiccup in the health department can really throw everything out of whack in that little area. So, listen, health is going to be extraordinarily important for Eloy, like Herb was just talking about. It's going to be extraordinarily important for TA if he's going to win a batting title. Going to be extraordinarily important for the White Sox in general if they're going to win the World Series this year.
Yeah, he would have won it. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. And I was looking at the American League leaders in hitting last year. I think Yuri Gurriel at 319, and then you got Vlad Guerrero, and then Tim Anderson. Like, he's right there. He's always right there. And all that is, like I said with Eloy Jimenez, he had the same amount of games. He had 10 hits less. Now extrapolate that out to 165, 162 games. It's probably like 30 more hits that Tim would have got if he was actually healthy. He only played 23 games last year. So bump those up to 143 like Yuri Gurriel. I think he takes the title.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to get to some of the comments we have on the side here. But, I mean, with Anderson, if he was a little bit more healthy last year, maybe he's able to take the batting crown last year, 319, like you said, for Gurriel. And with Eloy, too, I mean, as long as he's making more consistent contact, that was the big thing looking at his numbers recently was 2019 and 2020. His contact numbers were, around like 64 to 66%, and he was dropping down to like 60% last year. I mean, he just wasn't as consistent as he has been. So if he's able to just get things a little bit more tightened up, he's able to stay healthy. I don't think we've ever seen the full power of Eloy just yet.
We are 2 years removed from all three of those guys winning Silver Sluggers in the same year.
That's crazy.
They can do it. They just did it 2 years ago.
That's nuts.
Stop it, Brandon. Stop it, Brandon. Stop it.
Brandon has Leury Garcia as Player of the Month for April. What's wrong with that, Herb?
That's
a bold prediction.
The man barely will play in April. If he plays a lot in April and he's the Player of the Month, and I mean, we got bigger problems then.
He just homered is what Steven just told me in spring training. So him and Nick Madrigal about to lead the AL and NL in home runs. My bold prediction for 2022, I said this back in before the first two season series were delayed, so it is a little bit more compact. But I honestly feel a little bit more, like it might happen now. That I don't want to say giddy because people got injured, but Lance Lynn going down, Garrett Crochet going down, Kimbrel being shipped off. I think that Liam Hendriks' importance to this team becomes more and more clear. And I think that it's possible, and probably not going to happen, but it's bold predictions. Liam Hendriks, if anyone, can break the MLB record for saves in a season. The season save record is 62, set by a K-Rod back in 2008. Tony, different Italian name, Tony.
I was going to say we mentioned the other day. You do not want me in the dugout managing this White Sox team. Let's leave it to the Hall of Famer.
Fashion wise, you'd fit right in. I mean, the mustache would be great in an MLB uniform. But Tony had Dennis Eckersley for a very, very long time, and he used him a lot. 45 saves in a season, 48 in a season, 43 in a season, 51 in a season. We were talking about the two-time reigning AL reliever of the year in Liam Hendriks. He led the AL, I believe, in saves last year with 38. I think that if Tony uses them more than he did last year, it's all about usage, and it's all about these games being close. And now with the rotation being up in the air, the White Sox might be more in more competitive games. They're going to be winning these games, hopefully. We all predict them to have a fairly good season. It's all about these games being tight. So I think that 62, it might be the perfect season. Everything might have to go perfect for Liam Hendriks to hit that. But if anyone in the modern game can, I think Hendriks can with his starter background. But I don't know if that's too bold for you guys.
I guess it would take a lot. Like for Francisco Rodriguez's record, 62 is a lot of pitches or a lot of appearances to be made already, and to go probably 75. Is Joe Madden our manager? Gosh dang. I think we have way too many good options, like Vinny was saying, with our top four for Tony to be going to Liam Hendriks all those times and for games to be that tight. So I expect the White Sox, when the ship is righted and Lance Lynn comes back, everything to be cool, and some of those saves will go to Kendall Graveman, some of those saves will go to Joe Kelly, some will go to Aaron Bummer. So I don't think he'll get there. It's going to be some doing because K-Rod, I'm looking at his appearances. It was 69 games. He got 66 saves for. That's pretty solid.
Well, he was in 76 games. He finished 69 of them. Nice. But he pitched 68 and a third innings. Hendriks last year 70 innings or 71 innings. So and 69 appearances for Hendriks. Tony just needs to use him a little bit more, and he'll be hitting those games used for K-Rod. It just needs to be in more save situations.
I'll tell you this, if it were up to Liam Hendriks, he'd be pitching even more than that. He told us last year, I think before the season started, that his goal is to pitch in 81 games, half the games every season. And again, there's a reason he's not managing the team. But, you're listen, you got to have a team that wins a lot of games. You got to have a team, and you got to have a team that has a fantastic closer who is willing to do that sort of workload.
Right.
The White Sox have both of those things. I do agree with Herb a little bit more that I think the combination of the modern game, where you don't want to burn anybody out before you get to October, and the fact that the White Sox have a lot of other options in that bullpen will probably prevent that from happening. But you talk about a guy in Liam Hendriks who wants the ball so bad that if he gets near that,
right,
he's gonna in September. He's gonna be telling Tony, "You better not be resting me. You better be putting me out there."
And that's why I think if anyone can, it is the modern game with the not so modern manager. So that's my feeling. So that if anyone can do it, it's the crazy Australian and the old school manager. So that's my thinking behind it. Let's go into the chat because we got some bold predictions here. I don't know if this one's bold, but Pine Tar Keyboard chiming in with Aaron Bummer All-Star. I think that, we talked about Bummer. Obviously, you talked about his extension. Got a little bit unlucky last year, but I think his ground ball rate was like 76%, which definitely plays. Herb, you think they got an All-Star and Aaron Bummer in the bullpen?
It's just tough. I don't know if setup men get the shine that they should. And for Aaron Bummer to get an All-Star nod, the White Sox would have to be really good at the All-Star game, at the All-Star break, and then they would have to have a manager that has played him and says, man, that guy is an all-star, and I'm going to name him to my team. Or the players vote on him, and they say, yeah, there's nobody better as a left-hander in the league than Aaron Bummer. So I think it's bold just because it's position. Usually it's starters or closers. But Pine Tar Keyboard, I like it. I like the prediction. It's bold as hell.
And Herb, he's got to be the best. In order to make the All-Star team, he's got to be the best setup man on his own team, which is going to be a challenge for a very good reason for Bummer this year.
Yeah, and I hope they compete like the starters do. Great, signed Kendall Graveman. I love that. And then Aaron Bummer's like, I'm better than Kendall Graveman today, and I go out and shove it up the next team's ass. Can we shove things up people's ass on YouTube?
Yeah, it's fine. You're not FCC anymore, so don't worry about it. There's no 14-second dump, so it doesn't matter. It's already out there. You just got to live with it now. Next bowl prediction: Steven Niss. Dylan Cease starts game 1 of the ALDS. I think this is bold, but it's definitely possible, Vinny.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. You get what you earn. You know what I mean? And I think, you guys have been talking about how you see that another big jump from Dylan Cease coming to where he could be one of the better pitchers in baseball. I think the White Sox see that coming too. You talked to Ethan Katz at spring training about Dylan Cease, and he's like, yeah, that was fine last year. He can do much better than that. And you're like, oh, okay. All he did was lead the best rotation in baseball or in the AL in strikeouts. Seemed pretty good to me, but apparently non-plussing the pitching coach. So yeah, they've got high hopes for him. And listen, if he has the best season of any starting pitcher in that rotation, he will get that game 1 start. We saw Lance Lynn get it last year when he had the best season of any pitcher in that rotation. So I think Tony's big on rewarding the guys who earn what they get, and that is a very big possibility for Dylan Cease, sure.
I think the ALDS is the second round now with this new playoffs, right? So they'll play that best of 3 and then the ALDS. Is that correct?
Believe that is correct, yeah.
Hell, it's talking into existence, Steven. Get to that second round would be beautiful. I wouldn't be satisfied, but yeah, Dylan Cease as the ALDS first game starter, I'm in, because that means the White Sox defeated their first opponent and are on their way to the ALDS and hopefully the World Series eventually. Or,
Herb, it means that they had one of the 2 best records in the American League, and they got to buy into the ALDS.
Boom. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's avoid any plans. Let's just get to the rounds we know. We've already gotten there. I feel like it's a video game checkpoint. We have reached the checkpoint. Let's just get there.
We should just start there and then go.
Yeah, skip all the BS. Season. Yeah, let's just skip all the BS. And I like it too, just because if, Cease has that type of season, maybe some of the starting pitching concerns that fans have and that we have get a little bit subsided too. And if you're, you got Dylan Cease to win AL Cy Young on PointsBet plus 1,800 right now. So if you think he's going to start game 1 of the ALDS, you might as well put some money on that because, if he's that good, the White Sox clearly have shown that they got top of the league pitchers in this staff. We got Joe Tucci being real bold. Gio throws another no-no. If you can find any betting place that will take that bet, Joe, go and place money on it, because if you somehow call this on April 5th and call a no-hitter, I think that you'll be pretty kicking yourself for not making any money off of it. We got Brendan Frawley, the Rush guy, saying Yolbert Sanchez will make his MLB debut this year. That seems concerning to me because that probably seems that a big injury happens unless Yolbert goes crazy down in the MILB. Any thoughts on Yolbert?
No, he's Yomer's brother, right?
That's
it?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, he sounds like it. But why?
Yolbert Sanchez is another one of their Cuban signings.
Why hasn't the Holy Triumvirate come to the Chicago Rush and use that as their logo? Vinny, you would wear it every once in a while? No?
What's that? Just Rush. Yeah, right, exactly.
Rush, not Chicago Rush. Yeah,
right. I really could care less. Or could not care less whether they brought back the Chicago Rush. But please bring back just regular Rush. That would be wonderful. Require Neil Peart coming back from the dead and everything, but that's okay.
Sky Point. I'm reading an article from NBC Sports Chicago from this guy Vinnie Duber, so also Sky Point for NBC Sports Chicago.
Must be at least a month old.
That guy, November 10th. That guy said Yolbert Sanchez, not to be confused with former Southside second baseman Yolmer Sanchez. So that Vinnie Duber saying that I don't think they're related. Any other bold predictions we got here? I think one of them, any 40-40 season for either Tim Anderson or Luis Robert. I don't think Anderson's going to hit 40 homers, but Robert 40-40 this year, Herb? Oh, 30-30. 30-30 for either Luis or Anderson.
I think Luis Robert reaches that easily if he is healthy. Yes.
Easily. Even with the even on the stolen base front, huh?
Yeah, I don't think he's getting stolen bases.
Yes. I think he's getting there because I just think the guy in his second position in the lineup too plays into that too. He's not top speed in the league like Trey Turner, but he has great speed and he has good stealing bases ability. I think 30-30, if he's healthy, he gets there.
We have not seen a lot of stolen bases from the White Sox in general lately, even when they have guys who can do it. I even think back to last year when they had Billy Hamilton,
right,
and we didn't see that many of them. The good thing about Luis Robert is he knows how to do it. I can recall what during his rookie season, a few swipes a third and stuff like that. So, I mean, he's a guy that can do it. I would probably pick him to lead the team in that department. I'm not quite sure what Josh Harrison's speed is like. He seems like an aggressive guy, though, that could maybe go for a few, but there was a time there wasn't. Again, I'm all the years are bleeding together on me here, but Tim Anderson wasn't he leading the American League in stolen bases at one point early in one of the last few seasons, and then that fell off too. So stolen bases have been few and far between for the White Sox, but you always hear from their guys, from everyone. From including people who can do it, like Luis Robert and Tim Anderson, to people like Jose Abreu, who probably shouldn't be doing it, that they their goal is to steal more bases. So it's never for a lack of desire, but we just haven't really seen too much of it.
Well, it's interesting too because Robert obviously has the pedigree, and so does Moncada, and so does Anderson. It just feels that I think that they're just avoiding it for health reasons. We see Moncada and Robert both wear the kind of like the oven mitt.
Well, that's what Robert's thumb injury. You'll remember back when he was still in the minor leagues that knocked him out for so long. Look at this. I can't remember a year for the life of me here, but I can tell you what year every Stones album came out in, but I can't tell you pertinent White Sox information. But Luis Robert sliding into second base, that's when he got that thumb injury that really limited his power for that whole year down in the minor leagues. So it's from experience maybe even at this point.
Exile on Main Street?
1972, best album of all time.
All right. Herb, any more stolen bases thoughts, or you want to give Vinny a Stones year?
I don't know any Stones albums. My fiance is a huge Stones fan. Her mother's a huge Stones fan. You would think, I would be. No, I'm not. I appreciate their music, though. Is there a Stones album? The one with the lips on it. All of them.
All of them.
The one with Beast of Burden on it.
That's Some Girls, 1978.
There you go. All right. Sticky Fingers.
1971. Got to get that one with the real zipper on the cover, too. We've covered that, Lawrence. We've covered that one.
You got to listen to the show. All right, we should wrap this up before we start getting. What's the one from the 90s?
Goat Head Soup.
Goat's Head Soup is 1973. That's a very good one too. Were several from the 90s.
There was Viper, Demon, or something like that. It was a blue one. It was a blue album cover.
Black and blue.
Well, there's Bridges to Babylon. There's Steel Wheels. That's around that time too. Yeah.
Yeah. Bridges to Babylon is where we're going to end this Chicago White Sox podcast, the 1990s Rolling Stone album. Thank you for listening to the CHGO White Sox podcast. The man down there in the bubble is Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. Gotta give a shout out to our producers, Stephen Nicholas and Kevin Wells. Kevin running the board for the first time and did a great job, so thank you, Kevin, on that. For Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer, you could check out his thoughts on the Johnny Cueto signing, if you remember, at allchgo.com, and you can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. You can follow CHGO White Sox on Twitter at CHGO_White Sox. I'm Sean Anderson, and we will talk to you tomorrow for our season predictions for the 2022 White Sox.